Proud to represent the History Committee of St. John Baptist Church, and I'm not going to go all the way back. I think as I'm looking around, I know that most of you are familiar with our story. You're familiar with the fact that we moved here from land that was called the Reservation, present location of the Naval Weapons Station. What I will say about our time on the reservation is that the first church was built over almost 150 years ago on property that was sold by John Roberts Sr. and his wife Margaret. So they were a part of the community and they helped start our first church. I looked back over some of our records and I found that in 1919, with displaced families, we call it displaced, but we were forced to move from our property. Many of the displaced families moved to places like Hampton, Newport News. Many moved even out of the state. But so many of the members of the reservation community settled right in this area, Penman Road, or the East Williamsburg area, as it's known. The families, if you look, this is now called Lodge Road. We used to call it the lane.
Yep, up the lane.
And down the lane, the property owners were the leads on that side of the road, and of course the family of William Hundley, who was my grandmother's brother, on this side all the way down. If you look all the way across the field, there were the Paynes. A little farther down were the Randalls. Farther down, the Washingtons. I could go through so many names to let you know that people who moved from the reservation didn't give up on staying together, building community, and most important, re-establishing this church right here. It would have been so easy for them to go back to First Baptist, but God purposed for them to be right here. So in 1922, the first church, which is located where the present church is, was established. And then in 1967, we dedicated this present building. I am just so happy to know that this field that I used to walk across from my grandmother's house to get to Sunday school in the morning, now is going to be in the hands of our church.
Yes.
I can tell you that God has been good.
Yes.
And I think that as we think about the many names, I've called some, there are many that I haven't called. I think that the most important thing we should get from all of this is that God has been faithful. For over 150 years, God has been faithful. He has provided. He has sustained. And we're going to do the work that He purposed for us to do more than 150 years ago. I just ask you to have a blessed day. And don't forget the story. I think it said in Psalm 78, it tells you to tell the story to the next generation so that they know of the goodness of God. So while you're telling them about their people, also tell them about the goodness of God.
Amen.